Welcome back, guys, to the 1% Club podcast. I'll be your host again today, James, and in this episode we're going to talk about self-education and public education, the schooling system, and why it is broken. Now, it's no secret that people in the 1% Club, the 1% population that have the things that you want, have the things that you deserve, self-educate. Now, there's a massive culture around education being something that's inconvenient, something that's a chore, something that you have to do when you were younger, and then you go to school. I'm not sure about everybody in the entire world, but I remember when I was going through the education system that you can't wait to leave. And many people say that the education system, it's great. It allows you to get a job. You can go to school, go to college, go to university, and it allows you to get a job. Now, education will make you a living, but self-education will make you a fortune. That is what many people of the 1% say. That is what they believe in, that self-education is something that lasts a lifetime. I don't know about you, but I didn't pick up a book. I didn't pick up anything that would educate me from really 16 years old through to probably 24 was the first time I actually picked up a book properly, an educational book, and read through it. But ever since, I've always decided that I'm going to always self-educate. I've got many books. I watch many educational videos. When people are watching, I know many people watch things for entertainment purposes. I'd rather actually learn something new from somebody else through the same content, through either reading, not a fictional book, but a non-fictional book, something that's educational, that's going to teach me something, that's going to help me grow that 1% every day. And if I'm watching videos, yeah, it's great to kick back and watch Netflix and do so over a takeaway or with the family and have some downtime. But if that downtime is 4 or 5 hours a day, when you can be spending at least a couple of those hours doing something educational, watching something educational, you don't even have to read something educational. There's so much content on YouTube. Even documentaries are educational. You're still self-educating yourself, and you're still going, okay, what have I learned today? If you can't answer that question in a positive way, then you probably aren't consuming the right information that's going to get you in that 1% population. And that's only the information provided from the people that are in the 1%, the people that have the things that you want and are where you want to be, whether that's in health, whether that's in financial, family, your behaviours. If you can model the behaviours of people that have what you have, you'll stand a better chance of getting what they've got. Now, the public education system, you have no choice on what you learn, really. You have the same content that I guess I'm making an assumption here, but I mean, I spent so much time at school in the education system. I didn't go to university because I couldn't wait to leave, but I spent so much time learning things that I've never ever used, and I will never use. I'll never want to use it because now I've got a choice on what I want to use. But at the time, that information is mandatory. You're in a classroom with 30 people, 20 people, 10 people, whatever the size classroom is, and you're all learning from the same material. And that same material will probably be what the next year's group also learns. So you've all got the same information, you're on the same playing field as everybody else. Now, why is that a bad thing? Now, in my opinion, self-education, you get to choose what you want to learn. So if only, I'm going to use a random example, but I know that after the same education that I had with all my high school friends, all my primary school friends, all education was the same. Everybody had the same information and you were graded against each other. or you were just graded on how successful you were in retaining information. Nothing practical, just retaining it. And then when you leave school, you get to make a choice what you consume then. So say if in my case, I've taken many courses, still educational, still in the education system, but it's to progress, doing what I want to do. So I know if I pay £5,000 for a course, I can get a job that provides me with X amount of income. So if I put 5,000 in, I'll get 20,000 a year extra, for example. Or if I invest X amount of money in a business here, there's a potential audience of X amount, so I can make X amount back. With all these education systems, whether it's even university, you come out with the exact same information. So what makes you different to somebody else? What makes you stand out to anybody else? I don't know the answer to that question. All it says to me is you've got 30 people that know the exact same thing. What's the use in that? That's not 1%, that's 100%. You know, 100% of the people know the same thing because they were given the same information. But the 1% go out and self-educate after the standard education system and create a lifestyle where they're constantly educating yourself. Every day I like to educate myself, do something educational, productive. This is a productive activity that I'm doing right now, this podcast. I also have a 9-to-5 job. I also have other income streams that I work on. That's productive. So and then I've also got a family. So I spend time with family, work, health. I was up at 6 this morning, went to the gym, did weights, come back. Before most people are even up, I've done that. And then I do this podcast, and then I'll educate myself later. I might read a book. I'm not sure, but I've got many books around me. Or I'll go on my phone and read Amazon Kindle. It's all accessible off this. I can't understand why you've got an excuse, because you've got readily available books. You can even use apps like Blinkist, where you can have book summaries, and they take, I'm not sure of the exact time, I think it's something like 5 minutes to read, and it gives you all the information that you need to practically go out and use it. Not to sit there and go, I've just wasted 5 hours reading a book, when I could have took that information in a 5-minute period and gone and used it and spent 2 hours actually implementing what I've learned. That's the difference between self-education, is that you get to choose what you want and there's no excuse. So if you sat there and you're in the position like I was, where you haven't picked up a book, you haven't self-educated yourself for many years, make a commitment to do so. Make a commitment today to read even a book a week, listen to an audio book, take a course. I'm not saying all education is bad. Take a course, but use that information to create a secondary source of income or enhance the first source of income. But if you've not educated yourself ever since you've left the public education system, then there's a problem. You aren't in that 1%. So 1% do educate themselves. Self-education. So remember that saying, public education will make you a living, self-education will make you a fortune. So if you want a fortune, and that can be a fortune in health, fortune in family, fortune in love, fortune in financial, you have to be in that 1% population that are winning. They are winners. Listen to winners. Don't listen to losers. You listen to too many losers. This is the problem. People listen to too many losers. Go straight to the top. Go straight to the 1%, and you'll see massive success. That's it for the 1% Club podcast today. I'll catch you Thursday for the Side Hustle Startup podcast. Catch you then.